So let's walk the walk, and we'll start off by introducing you to model coach Nicole Davis.
I'm an instructor and my classroom is the runway. My name is Nicole Davis, and I am a runway coach and founder of my company, which is called Nicole Talent Group, which is a one-stop shop for fashion events. And we provide runway coaching, fashion show production, audition hosting, different things like that. I also have a roster of models and hair and makeup people, and just signed our first photographer. So, you know, anything that you need for your fashion event, you can come to NTG and we can provide that for you. How I started was actually I did a fundraising fashion show. And one of the girls that was in the show, she was, you know, a professional model, and she went to an audition and came up to me one day randomly and just said, I went to this audition and I didn't tell you about it, and I feel really bad because I thought that you would be really good, and I told the show director about you, and they're expecting you to come on Saturday. So I said, oh, okay. And so I went and I did that show and I liked it, and that same company asked me to come back and do another show, and then that's when I decided I wanted to go ahead and pursue modeling. So it's been a whirlwind ever since, but I love it. I found a passion and I wouldn't want to be doing anything else.
There are a large group of people over the age of 50 who are having trouble getting back into the job market. Hire yourself. You have a list of skills, you have a list of things that you can do. Hire yourself. But in order to do that, you got to catch up to the technology that exists today that people like myself go, what? Where do you press what button? And it's too much. Right. And I'm not going to do it because I'll show how ignorant I am. It's not that difficult. Catch Me Up is a book that rallies people to saying, look, you can employ yourself, and here's how you can employ yourself with the new technology today, and it's not that difficult. It's actually, if you know the right things to do, it's simple. And here's how you do it.
You really have become such a great mentor. And you know, I've seen the show. My son is a huge fan of yours. Watching the show, he's 10 and a half.
I love it. I love the little sharks out there.
And he is like so committed to that show, which I love because I wasn't raised by an entrepreneur. I was raised by two entertainers and was an actor when I was a kid. So to have that kind of leadership, I mean, that you're affecting them and they're learning about business is really, really powerful.
Well, you know what? I would love to take the credit for that and be very honest. It was ABC and Mark Burnett who had a vision to teach entrepreneurship. If somebody would have said to me 10 years ago, you can watch a couple of men and women talk about deals on a show and it would be important and people would value it, I wouldn't believe it. But if you let Hollywood and a couple of the really amazing editors and filmers, put it together and put it out in a way where it's entertaining as well as, informative, 10 years ago, could I have ever seen people who are millionaires and billionaires in the room with the common day man and woman, and what would they want to hear? And I think that's the value. When you sit home on the couch, you go, that person's doing it, why can't I?
At one point in the past 2 years, when I read something that I wasn't accurate, and I didn't, there was this big rumor that James Franco and I were boyfriends. And it couldn't have been anything further from the truth. We lived together this summer in New York City, and people, that got out, and this ridiculous website outlet put it out there that James and I are boyfriends, and there just comes a point when you realize that it's a game, and they're going to do what they got to do to get people to look at their websites, and you can't really listen to that stuff. And I had to learn that lesson by paying attention to that stuff and realizing that maybe it's not my best interest to even read that or look at it.
I think keeping your private life separate from your Instagram life is pretty easy. I don't think there's anything wrong with posting your private life on your Instagram, but if your intentions are to make a business out of it, then that's when you need to separate, and that's just by not posting.
I restricted my Facebook. You can't restrict your Twitter, but restricted my availability of my email. I basically made business accounts the only thing that people could get a hold of me from. you know? And relegated and invited people to interact with me on official pages. Not trying to say, hey guys, don't talk to me. Instead saying like, hey guys, if you want to interact with me, this is the place that you want to do it at. So I did my best to keep my email not public, and if I did put an email out there, it was usually like a business email, something that I was used to having. And making that like available and upfront allowed me to have a catch-all.
For someone that wants to get into the industry, you already talked about the traits. You have to be artistic, you have to be vocal, you have to be organized and all these different things, but how do you actually go through the motions of having a company and being a wedding planner? Module 2, let's find out how you can get started, whether it's earning a certification or possibly doing an internship.
My vote is for an intern, to intern with the company. I think that's the best way. Had I thought initially about being an event planner, I think I would have loved to have been an intern. We get interns at Hustle and Bustle, and I feel like so many of them come and they're so excited. They just know like they want to do event planning. They love weddings. And so we have them come to a wedding and it's completely not for them.
I've had interns that I've hired and they get into it and they think they just see the glitz and the glamour of everything.
Would you say you need the certification or schooling to get in?
No.
Same here. No. Work hard.
You need, you just need to make sure you what you're doing and you're confident.
For wedding planning, it depends. Like, I found my education to be very helpful, but that's also because I went to a university that emphasized hospitality. You know, there's not many hospitality management programs, but if you do find a great one, I would suggest it because it gives you such a great background knowledge on hotels, restaurants, and just service, you know?
I really think that this food truck craze has only began. I don't think it's dying anytime soon. And the reason I say that is because before, just people that walk off the street, people be walking the sidewalk would see 10 trucks lined up and say, I want to do a food truck business. We don't have that anymore. Now we have Jack in the Box saying, we want to do 20, 30 trucks. We have corporations saying, I want trucks. Subway wants a truck. IHOP wants a truck.
All the good trucks that got great food and got a great reputation are going to be the ones that are going to be hanging. The rest are going to be going bye-bye.
Yeah, I still strongly believe that this is an industry that I can make an impact with versus trying to get into technology, and trying to do something and eventually get guys like Google or Microsoft buy me out. But this is something that's still open game for a lot of people.